Hi dear friends and subscribers, welcome to the Cricket Happening Show with your host Ram today. And in this part of the cricket show, we have, after a gap of probably a few days, we are going to have three international matches coming up tomorrow, that is on 11th of January. The first match would be Australia versus Sri Lanka. They are starting the one-day series after Australia actually did a clean sweep of the Test series, and then we are going to look at a brief preview, if at all possible. It would be India and England also starting the one-day series. In fact, as far as India are concerned, India, after beaten by Pakistan 2-1, would be looking forward to playing England, and that is the one-day international series where India has a very good record against England in home one-day internationals. And also there is one more match which is going to start, and that is Port Elizabeth, which is going to see a test match after a pretty long time, and that's between South Africa and New Zealand, the second test match where New Zealand would get a chance to level the series, if at all. Well, but today what I'm going to do, I'm going to start off with a preview of the first one-day international between Australia and Sri Lanka. And the reason that I'm doing that is for one of my dear subscribers of Cricket Happenings, Mr. Anil Bista, who has requested, wanting to know when I do my preview, he wants me to actually dwell because it seems that many people are telling that Australia are having Australia B team right now, led by George Bailey, and many people have been criticizing that. And Mr. Anil Bista, who follows my Cricket Happenings in a very great manner and is a very loyal fan of the Cricket Happening show, has requested, wanting to know why Australia, whether that is the right one, whether, because people say that the Australian it's a B team and people have been criticizing the squad, but he feels that it's a decent ODI squad. Anil Bista, if you are watching my Cricket Happenings, here we go. Well, so as doing the preview of this international, first I would like to address the issue that Anil Bista has raised, my dear subscriber, talking about whether Australia right now, which is led by George Bailey, the captain of Australia, who has become a specialist there, and also he has troops under him who are pretty young legs, so it would be a very good fielding unit for sure. Phil Hughes is making his debut in one-day international, so that will be very interesting to see. Aaron Finch is another person who is going to make his debut, so that is and Aaron Finch in the Australian Domestic League, he has been having a great record. In fact, in the Ryobi Cup this season, he is averaging 99.40, and the Big Bash League he has scored 309 runs at an average. And there are four people who are making their debut: Phil Hughes, Aaron Finch, who is very powerfully built, he hits some huge sixes, Usman Khawaja, the talented Usman Khawaja, and Ben Cutting. Well, the team has been announced. The team reads Phil Hughes, Aaron Finch, Usman Khawaja, George Bailey the captain, David Hussey, Glenn Maxwell, Brad Haddin the wicketkeeper, Mitchell Johnson, Mitchell Starc, Clint McKay, and Xavier Doherty. So there's no place for Ben Cutting. So Ben Cutting has to wait for his one-day international debut. Okay, so Anil Bista, this is for you. Now, talking about why this Australia first, talking about the question that you have raised on the Cricket Happening show, asking whether I feel whether this unit is something which is to be, like, people have been criticizing about it and talking about this team. Well, Anil, I would rather say that this Australian outfit has been designed, or actually selected, by the chairman of selectors, John Inverarity, along with his fellow selectors, the bunch of selectors. They have selected a team keeping in view the champions. In fact, in the comment, if you know I said Champions League, I'm sorry about that. It should have been the Champions Cup, which is coming up in England in this particular year. And then Australia are going to be touring India, and then we have in 2015 Australia and New Zealand would be joint hosts of the World Cup 2015. So keeping that in mind, what Australia have done, they have gone for some a lot of young talent. They have rested all the big names. There are no big names at all. No Michael Clark, no Michael Hussey who was retired, no Shane Watson, no David Warner, and they are going out for an young outfit. I think that's the right way to go, because you will have to build up for the 2015 World Cup. Now, as far as the Australian squad goes, Phil Hughes would be making his debut. There are two openers who are making their debut. That's a very interesting thing to note. Probably, I wonder whether that has happened in the history of cricket, where two openers are making their debut on the same day. It's Phil Hughes, who has been knocking on the doors of one-day internationals, I would say, through the dint of his test match performances and getting strokes to play all round the wicket, as we saw him. Aaron Finch is a very, very powerfully built person and really likes to hit the leather of the ball. He's a very good hitter of the ball. And Usman Khawaja, another talented player, would make his debut. That would be interesting to see, because he has this ability to play very, very well on difficult pitches, as we have seen in Australia. George Bailey is a very, very thinking captain, very intelligent captain. He will be leading the side, and he also would lead with the bat. David Hussey is one of those experienced blokes in this Australian team, and he is a real one-day specialist. Glenn Maxwell, a very upcoming all-rounder from Australia, who is very keenly watched at, and the cricketing experts in Australia have been really, really raving about Glenn Maxwell, and why not? He has already proved a lot of things after coming into the international mix. Brad Haddin, the wicketkeeper, another one, along with David Hussey, who brings in that experience factor into the picture. He would be the wicketkeeper batsman, and he loves one-day internationals because Brad Haddin likes to play his strokes. So that would be something that Brad Haddin would be waiting for. Mitchell Johnson, look at the bowling attack. We have the experienced Mitchell Johnson, who is in some very good form as far as the ball is concerned, and he's also good with the bat too. So he's there as an all-rounder. And then they have the specialist Mitchell Starc, who always has done well in one-day internationals. He will be sharing the new ball probably with Mitchell Johnson. And then they have Clint Mickey, one of those economical bowlers. And they have Xavier Doherty, the left-arm spinner, who is a very, very economical bowler too. So looking at this Australian squad, Anil, what I would like to tell you is that they have done this keeping in view that they are preparing themselves for the 2015 World Cup. And I think that's the right way to go. Now what happens is that for Australia, there is absolutely no pressure while playing this one-day international, which is going to be played at the Melbourne Cricket Ground. Absolutely no pressure, because they are all youngsters, so they would like to play the natural game. And I know the only test for Australia, according to me, the Australian team, will be how they shape up with Lasith Malinga. Now they would have definitely had a look at him in the Big Bash League, because Lasith Malinga, he's playing for Melbourne Stars. So definitely they would have had a look at him, and they also know that Sri Lanka are under the pump, because they had a clean sweep of the test series there. But that is not something to read upon. But Australia, I'm sure, led by a very, very astute captain like George Bailey, would definitely rally his team, and they should do well. But as far as your question is concerned, now I mean, people were criticizing, it doesn't really matter, because Australian team are looking forward to the future. So that is the answer for your question, Mr. Anil Bista. Australia are looking out for the future, and I think it's still a very good unit. It's still a very, very competitive unit. You have players who have done their bit. They have a bit of experience, but lots of young legs, as I said. Two people are making their debut, but they have been doing well in domestic cricket, and I think it really, really augurs well. I think that is the right way to go. As far as Sri Lanka are concerned, they have Tilakatne Dilshan, who is an experienced person. Upul Tharanga comes in. Maila Jayawardene is another wonderful and intelligent captain leading the team. Dinesh Chandimal is a very, very talented player. He showed that in the test matches with his wide array of strokes. Lairo Theramani is in good form, making 93 in the previous test match. Angelo, but they have lots of all-rounders, so that's a good part about this particular Sri Lankan outfit. They have Angelo Matthews, Lahiru Thirimane, they have Jeevan Mendes. These are the three all-rounders playing in the team. And then they have Thisara Pereira too, Nuwan Kulashekara and Lasith Malinga. Lasith Malinga, you know what he can do. That would be the real test, according to me, for the Australians, how they play the 10 overs of Lasith Malinga. If they can do that, I would say that particular batsman would have arrived in Australia into the team. Then they have the spinners, Ajanta Mendes, or they will choose between Ajanta Mendes and Rangana Herath. There is no mention of Dhananjaya, so Dhananjaya doesn't figure in the squad right now. But as far as that is concerned, Anil, I hope I satisfied your I mean, I really answered your question, saying that Australia are basically looking out for the future, and they have got a team which is really raring to go, I would say. So Anil, I would like to let you know when you actually put in your comments whether you like this reply that I gave, and whether it was convincing enough for you to know my opinion on this particular squad which has been chosen. So as far as India and England are concerned, tomorrow they are renewing rivalries, but England don't have a good record in India as far as one-day internationals are concerned, and also after losing the match against Delhi, I'm sure that morale would have definitely got a real dip there. But I'm sure they would have learned their lessons, and they would like to do well. They would like to really rectify the old record that was there, where, as I said, England have not done well in one-day internationals in India against India. Whether they would like to rectify that, and definitely there are people that the England team is definitely equipped to deal with such a situation. Alistair Cook is the captain. Ian Bell is in some good form after making 90 and 100 runs in those warm-up matches. Kevin Peterson, after getting the central contract, I'm sure he would have got a real boost there. Ian Morgan, one of those one-day specialists who comes in and slams the balls. He also did it in the one-day internationals, and then in the test matches, I suppose, and in the 2020. Then they have Samit Patel. Craig Kiswett as wicketkeeper, but he's a very, very hard-hitting batsman too. So having him later in the order would really help. But I'm sure whether Alistair Cook is going to open Ian Bell or Craig Kiswett is going to open with Alistair Cook. That would be interesting to see. The bowling rests in the hands of Tim Bresnan. Tim Bresnan is a good one-day bowler. He didn't have a good test series against India, but I'm sure he would like to put it back and concentrate going forward. Stephen Finn would be sharing the new ball. Now, as you know, India had a harrowing time against Mohammad Irfan, the tallest bowler in world cricket, and also Junaid Khan was swinging the ball. So England would definitely rely on swing. They would like to swing the ball and see whether the Indian batsmen would make mistakes and try to probably work on the weakness of the Indians. James Treadwell is the spinner who will be keenly watched. And then they have the pace they have a good four-pronged pace attack with Tim Bresnan, Stuart Meeker,